Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for listening to and supporting Crime Over Wine, the only podcast with head-scratching true crime stories that are just better over a bottle of wine. I'm your host, Liam Collins, and I am here again with my friend, meteorologist Jed Christoph. Hello, Jed.
Hey, Liam, how's it going? I wasn't expecting to be back so soon.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, so great point, because we are providing you an update episode to the episode we just did with Jed a couple weeks back. It's episode 13. And it is the Bodies in Lake Mead episode. So if you have not listened to that episode, go back, stop what you're doing, go back a couple episodes, listening to that episode, because otherwise you are going to be like totally lost on what we're about to talk about, because we're providing with you a little bit of an update to that story. So pause, go back, listen to that episode. Okay, cool. So we are coming on to let you all know that almost every single set of remains that have been found in Lake Mead over the last couple of years have been identified.
Yeah, and isn't that just crazy impressive, especially kind of how we talked about last time, about how the remains are just like a bone here and there.
Yeah, right. Oh, incredible. And yeah, I think, and again, like you said, and because I have a lot of questions about this, which I think we're going to get to in a second, but like you said, I mean, the science must have absolutely gone leaps and bounds over the last couple of years, because that would have happened. I mean, even 10 years ago. Right. But I mean, because where we left off in episode 13, I mean, we had all these remains and we had like a kind of good idea of where one was, or who one was. And we knew for sure where another set of remains were, but we had I think it was 6 sets of remains, that we had no idea who they were, who they belonged to, where they came from, none of it. And like you said, they were, was a jawbone here and there, other pieces of bones that we didn't really know about. And here we are. Now we know exactly who they are. So why don't we get into who we now know who these people are?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Well, so, like we said, so we had, 6 sets of remains that were not identified, 7 total at the end of episode 13. The first set that was found was presumed to be Bobbi Eugene Shaw. The second was confirmed to be 47-year-old Thomas Erndt, but there were 5 more discoveries still waiting to be identified. Well, the good news is the rest of those remains have been identified. 3 of those sets belong to one person. The other 2 belong to somebody else. The first 3 sets of remains found on July 25th, August 6th, and August 15th. Again, if you listen to episode 13, we kind of broke that down pretty clearly. All belong to Claude Russell Pessinger. These were the remains all found along Boulder Swim Beach and were indeed believed to belong to the same person at the time. Now, Claude's case, I have to say, is really, really interesting. Frankly, probably worth an episode of his own. Claude was 52 years old when he went fishing on Lake Mead in July of 1998. According to the Las Vegas Review-Journal, Claude's boat was found driving on the lake in circles, while he was nowhere to be found. The coroner's office was just this month able to positively identify his remains, but they have not been able to determine a cause or manner of death.
Yeah, that one is really kind of weird. They just found his boat driving in circles like that. It makes me think maybe he was going pretty fast and hit something and went overboard. Weird.
Yeah, that is weird. And I'm wondering, if he was believed to be alone. Was it common for him to just go out on the boat by himself and do this, and then maybe, like you said, maybe fell off, maybe went swimming or something. But I guess it would be weird, that the if he went swimming and drowned, that the boat would still be going. So that's kind of strange to me on that note. So yeah, I'm wondering, is it possible that somebody else was around at the time? Is that the thinking? again, lots of like question marks on this case that I have a lot of questions about. And, it seems like, investigators even have a lot of questions about that too.
Yeah, that's definitely interesting because, if he was just going to hop off and swim, they would not find his boat just driving around.
Right.
I would wonder if there's anyone else on the water at the same time driving in a boat.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. That's kind of my thought too, because I mean, I don't know. I mean, again, we don't know a whole lot about Claude, but just knowing what we know about Bobbi, right? I mean, the mafia connections, that kind of thing. Like, again, not accusing Claude of anything or anybody else of anything, but if we're going with like the more nefarious route here, I mean, maybe he met up with someone on the lake. It's possible. So, like, yeah, I just think there are again lots of things that we have to definitively determine here to like be able to begin to speculate. But I mean, it could just be just total accidental, total weird thing, fell off the boat, like, really bizarre accident.
Yeah, and we'll probably never know.
Well, we could. I mean, who knows? I mean, it seems as though, it's been a long time. So it was July of 1998. So I mean, maybe we will, maybe we won't, but it's also, I mean, like we were talking about, bones. So it's like, maybe, like, how do you determine cause of death just based off of bones? Yeah. So, and what, like 25 years later, right? I mean, we don't really know much more about Claude's disappearance or death, than we probably did back then. So I'm assuming that means that we don't really have much to go off of based off of like suspects or witnesses, that kind of thing. Assuming that there are any. So yeah, I don't really see any, even again, just from a surface level type deal here, I don't really see a whole lot of like avenues to go off of at this point, I suppose. So let's talk about those last two remains as well. Those were also identified. They are the remains found in October off Colville Bay. Those remains were determined to be those of Donald Smith. Donald was from North Las Vegas, but was presumed to have drowned in April of 1974. His remains were identified using DNA, and his death has been ruled an accident definitively.
So I guess maybe someone saw it happen, kind of thing.
Yeah, I would guess so. I mean, again, like just from preliminary investigation kind of thing, because even when somebody's missing, I mean, you kind of have to like, go through the motions kind of thing. So yeah, I guess, whatever. I mean, like investors do not make those kind of rulings lightly, especially again, considering pretty much every other case in this situation. Like, you would think that even if there was like a possibility of foul play that they would, they wouldn't, make that kind of determination. So yeah, I mean, yeah, again, bizarre accident, but still we have a whole lot of bodies in this lake, and so let's go through the whole motions here. So anyways, I guess that one, again, sad ending, I suppose, but like maybe a little bit of glimmer of hope there, only because they a family 50 years later got some sort of final closure, even though it probably did rehash something up for them. They know for sure what happened to Donald, and his, remains have been brought home to be laid to rest for good.
Yeah, overall, probably good for the family there.
Yeah, I would think so. So as for the rest of those cases, those have almost all been identified, except for the first set of remains. Bobbi Eugene Shaw's family is still adamant that those remains belong to Bobbi, but that has not been confirmed as the recording of this episode. So if you know anything about Bobbi's case or Claude's case, call the Las Vegas Police Department at 702-818-3111. And we are also going to put that number on our website and in our show notes as always. But if you listen to episode 13, Jed and I are positively on the edge of our seats waiting for more news on this. Again, it's been pretty widely understood that the secrets Lake Mead has been unwittingly concealing are far from over. We are expecting more secrets to come from the lake, but the other update that Jed and I have to share is kind of bittersweet, right? Like bitter for you true crime lovers out there, but sweet for those of us who are like actively rooting for the health of our planet. So Jed, what I know we've been talking about this for a long time. What do you have for us? What can you share about kind of where we are in terms of the levels at Lake Mead and, overall the health of our environment on that front, I suppose?
Yeah, certainly. So Lake Mead has actually been on the rise as of the last month or so. And the reason for that is actually because the Western U.S. has gotten quite a bit of snowfall. And, the Colorado River is like 90% of the water that flows through the Colorado River ends up in Lake Mead. And a lot of that comes from states like Utah, Wyoming, and of course, Colorado. Utah, for example, Snowbird actually hit almost 800 inches of snowfall, which was record breaking for them. So a lot of snow and
That's a lot of snow.
a lot of that is going down the Colorado River and going straight for Lake Mead. So a lot of that water, going straight for Lake Mead means those water levels are going to continue to rise over the next few months as the snow melts off.
That's awesome. And so I also, because you sent me this tweet, so I'm just going to read it off from the tweet that you sent, if you don't mind. So it's Las Vegas locally, which I'm assuming is some sort of it's just some Las Vegas Twitter account, I suppose. But they tweeted this video, the tweet says the U.S. Bureau of Reclamation has begun releasing water from Lake Powell in order to create a water surge that travels through the Grand Canyon, helping to restore sandbars and beaches before arriving in Lake Mead. So evidently, there's this, large, besides the natural, flow of things, no pun intended, we are talking about, these, very, intentional efforts to try to put water back into the lake and hopefully offset some of this. But again, there's that part of me that says, I know there's more bodies down there. And so I kind of want to see what, I don't know. I'm like, can we just empty it out before we put raw water back in? Like, just a thought. Like, I know that might not be a good thing, but just a thought. I have so many questions here. And so, yeah, so I don't know. I'm glad to see that that there's starting to be some movement over there. I know we have a long way to go on that front, like we talked about again, episode 13. If you haven't listened to that, we still have a long way to go on that front. But it feels good, I guess, that there are movements, I guess, because we made a huge dent, again, no pun intended, in that lake. And so I'm glad it's starting to heal back up, I suppose.
Definitely. Yeah. Things are looking good right now. We'll see what happens in a few years.
Yeah. Well, and, again, I say that, but then summer's coming. And so, who knows what would happen on that front, right? So, well, that is all that we have for you on this special updated episode. And these are episodes that we really want to do way more often. Updates on cases that are more open-ended because we know you want to know about it and we want to share them with you. So this is a great reminder that if you haven't done so already, you should turn on notifications for our podcast wherever you are listening right now so that you can get our updates as soon as we put them out. So thank you so much for listening, and we will see you Wednesday for your regular scheduled episode of Crime Over Wine.
Proud member of the Podnuga Network.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. That should brighten your day a little. Actually, a lot. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.